Hey everyone, welcome back. So let's talk about Lost, one of the most iconic TV series of all time. The show starts with a simple but devastating premise. A plane crashes on a mysterious tropical island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. A group of survivors wakes up on the beach with no rescue in sight and no way to escape. At first, they think it's just about survival. Find shelter, signal for help, wait for rescue. But nothing on this island is what it seems. There are creatures in the jungle that nobody can explain. There are mysterious forces at work. There are strange connections between the survivors that seem too coincidental to be random. People have hidden pasts. They're connected to each other in ways they don't understand. And the island itself? It has its own agenda. It's manipulating events. It's keeping secrets. And those secrets will haunt the survivors for years to come. Today, we're diving into the complete story of Lost, Season 1, Episode 1. And if you enjoy this episode recap, I'll definitely continue the series and break down the rest of the episodes as well. So, with that said, let's get started. The episode opens with a man's eye snapping open. His name is Jack Shepherd, and he has no idea where he is. When his eyes open, he's lying on his back in a dense bamboo forest. For a moment, his mind is completely blank. Everything feels disorienting and surreal. He can't think straight. A dog appears and walks past his face. The small movement helps Jack regain consciousness. He starts to come to his senses. Jack tries to get up. He grabs onto a bamboo stalk and pulls himself to his feet, but his entire body is in pain. Sharp, intense pain. Then something triggers his memory. He feels a small bottle of alcohol in his pocket, a flask he must have had on the plane. Suddenly, everything clicks. He was on a flight. There was a plane crash. Jack realizes the magnitude of what's happened and doesn't waste any time. He stumbles out of the jungle toward the sound of voices and runs to the beach. When Jack reaches the beach, the full scale of the disaster becomes clear. Plane wreckage is scattered everywhere. Debris is spread across the sand and in the water. Smoke is rising from the destroyed aircraft. People are running in every direction, screaming, crying, trying to find help. But the most terrifying detail, one of the plane's engines is still running. It's spinning rapidly and making a horrible noise. The entire atmosphere is filled with panic, fear, and chaos. For a moment, Jack stands frozen, trying to comprehend what he's seeing. His mind is struggling to process the scale of this disaster. Then he snaps back to reality. This is a plane crash. Every second matters. Every moment could mean the difference between life and death. Jack doesn't hesitate. He starts running toward the injured people and begins helping whoever he can. Jack finds a man whose leg is trapped under a piece of the plane's landing gear.
He immediately calls out to other survivors nearby. Working together, they manage to free the man from under the heavy metal. Jack examines the wound carefully. As a doctor, he knows how to assess injuries. He can tell the man is in critical condition, but his life isn't immediately threatened, not if they can stop the bleeding. Jack takes off his tie and wraps it tightly around the man's thigh, creating a tourniquet to stop the blood flow. But then Jack hears something else, a woman's voice crying out in pain in the distance. The woman's name is Claire. She's 8 months pregnant and she's in labor. Jack rushes toward Claire's voice. The situation is already critical, and now she's in active labor, which means the baby could come at any moment. Not far away, a man named Boone is trying to give CPR to an unconscious woman named Rose. He's panicking. His hands are shaking with fear. He doesn't know if he's doing it right. Everywhere around them is chaos. People are fighting for their lives. The situation is deteriorating rapidly. Then another catastrophe happens. A man gets caught in the pull of the plane's still running engine. The spinning engine sucks him in with brutal force. Moments later, the engine explodes with a massive blast. The explosion sends shockwaves across the beach and reignites the panic and terror. Amidst all this chaos, Jack spots Hugo, a larger man, and tells him directly, "I need you to take care of Claire. She's in labor. Protect her." Hugo nods. He understands the urgency. Then Jack runs to Rose, where Boone is attempting CPR. He quickly realizes that Boone is panicking and doing the CPR incorrectly. His hands are shaking. His fear is obvious. Jack stops him and shows him the correct technique, but Boone is so nervous that he suggests they might need to insert a tube to help her breathe, an intubation procedure.
Jack realizes that if he doesn't give Boone a task to focus on, the man will completely fall apart with panic. Jack tells Boone, "Quick, find me a pen. Go now." Boone doesn't question it. He just runs off to find a pen. With Boone focused on this task, Jack can concentrate fully on saving Rose's life. He performs CPR correctly and relentlessly. He doesn't give up. Time seems to stop. Then, after what feels like an eternity, Rose's eyes flutter open. She's regaining consciousness. She's alive. For a moment, it seems like things might be okay, but Jack notices something else. A piece of the plane's wing is hanging dangerously above the wreckage. It could fall and crash down at any moment. Jack sees two people standing directly beneath the hanging piece of wing. They have no idea they're in danger. Jack doesn't hesitate. He sprints toward them at full speed, screaming with all the urgency in his voice, "Get out of there! Move now!" His voice carries such desperation and urgency that both people instinctively start running. Just as they clear the area, the massive piece of wing breaks free and crashes down. It hits the engine with a tremendous impact. The explosion that follows is violent. Flames spread rapidly across the area. The fire consumes everything nearby. The situation has become even more dire. Jack takes a moment to collect himself. He looks over at Hugo and reminds him again, "Take care of Claire. It's critical." Then, without stopping, Jack continues rushing from person to person, helping whoever he can. He moves from injured survivor to injured survivor, doing whatever is in his power to save lives. He runs tirelessly. He does everything he can for every person possible. He tries to save as many lives as he can. After what feels like hours of running and helping people, Jack finally stops. For the first time, he becomes aware of his own body. The pain hits him, sharp, throbbing pain that's been masked by adrenaline. He realizes that he himself is severely injured. His body has been pushing through serious wounds. Just then, Boone appears with the pen Jack asked him to find. Seeing that Boone has completed the task and successfully found the pen, Jack can tell that Boone has calmed down significantly. He's pulled himself together. Jack wastes no time. He opens a suitcase and pulls out a small kit containing needle and thread. He needs to treat his own wound immediately. As a surgeon, he knows what needs to be done. He finds a spot near the edge of the camp where he can sit and work on his injury. But there's a problem. His wound is in a location on his body where he can't easily reach it to stitch it himself. As Jack is trying to figure out how to stitch his own wound, a woman named Kate walks past. Jack sees her and immediately asks her directly, "I need my wound stitched. Can you do it?" Kate hesitates slightly, but given the urgency of the situation, there's no time to delay. Jack first cleans his hands and wound with alcohol to prevent infection. Then he prepares the needle and thread. Kate asks nervously, "Does the color of the thread matter?" Jack smiles slightly and says, "No, black is fine. We just need to do the job right." As Kate starts stitching, Jack experiences intense pain. To distract himself and to help Kate calm down, he starts telling her a story. He talks about his first surgery. He remembers being terrified. His hands were shaking so badly he could barely hold the instruments. He explains that his father taught him a technique. Count from 1 to 5. Clear your mind. Focus on the task at hand. Jack is using this same technique right now, trying to manage the pain and stay in control. As Kate stitches Jack's wound, Jack's mind drifts back to before the crash. He remembers being on Oceanic Flight 815, heading from Australia to Los Angeles. Everything seemed normal. Jack was sitting in his seat, having a drink, but the drink seemed too mild to him. An air hostess quietly slips him 2 small bottles and gestures to him to keep it secret. Jack puts one bottle in his pocket and pours the other directly into his glass. He drinks it immediately. Shortly after, Jack needs to use the bathroom. He gets up, but before he can reach the bathroom, a man named Charlie darts past him and enters the bathroom first. This seems odd to Jack, because the air hostess also follows Charlie toward the bathroom. Jack returns to his seat, thinking to himself that there must be a lot of bathroom traffic on this flight. But then, without warning, the plane hits severe turbulence. The aircraft begins shaking violently. The woman sitting next to Jack, Rose, becomes terrified. Her face shows pure fear. Jack tries to calm her down, reassuring her that everything will be fine. But the turbulence gets worse. The plane shakes harder and harder. Suddenly, oxygen masks drop down from the ceiling throughout the cabin. As Jack puts on his mask, everything goes black. He loses consciousness. That's when the crash happens. Back on the island, Kate finishes Jack's wound. The pain is intense, but Jack manages to stay calm and focused. As the chaos of the crash begins to settle, a man named Saeed takes charge of the beach area. He starts a large bonfire to signal any potential rescue teams that might be flying nearby. Charlie helps keep the fire burning throughout the night. As night falls, there's an eerie silence. No rescue comes, no help arrives. Saeed sits by the fire, increasingly worried that they haven't been rescued yet. Charlie sits nearby, making the situation worse with his annoying commentary. Boone brings his sister Shannon some chocolate. She's annoyed at him for bringing her food when she didn't ask for it. Shannon complains instead of expressing gratitude. Boone doesn't argue back. He just eats the chocolate himself. Hugo is organizing the available food. When he reaches Claire, he gives her 2 portions because he knows she's not alone. She's pregnant and needs extra nourishment. Michael and his son Walt sit by the fire together, but there's an awkward silence between them. They can't seem to find words to say to each other. A Korean couple, Jin-soo and Sun, sits nearby. Jin-soo constantly insists that Sun stay close to him, as if he's afraid of her leaving. Kate notices a severely injured man lying nearby. His body has a piece of plane wreckage embedded in it. The injury is obviously critical. Kate tells Jack, "This is the man who was sitting next to you on the plane." Jack examines him carefully. He can see immediately that this man needs advanced medical treatment that Jack can't provide right now with the limited resources available. He realizes that if he tries to remove the metal piece or perform any kind of operation without proper facilities, he'll only make things worse. It's a heartbreaking realization. There's nothing he can do for this man right now. As night deepens, everyone is settling into an uneasy sleep. Then, without warning, a horrifying sound echoes through the jungle. The noise is terrifying. It sounds like something massive is breathing and growling, getting closer and closer. It's a sound no human makes. It's otherworldly and deeply disturbing. All the survivors on the beach hear it at the same time. Everyone freezes in fear. The sound is so horrifying that it sends chills down everyone's spine. It sounds like an enormous creature is moving through the jungle, getting nearer to their camp. In the distance, toward the jungle, coconut trees suddenly start falling one by one, as if something massive is pushing them down with tremendous force. But here's what makes it truly terrifying. No one can see anything. Whatever is making that sound is completely invisible. There's no shape, no form, just destruction. All the survivors on the beach huddle together, staring in the direction of the sound. But nobody dares to move. Nobody dares to approach. The fear is so intense that nobody can even speak. People are frozen in absolute terror. The creature, or whatever it is, gets close enough that everyone can feel its presence, but it doesn't attack. It's as if it's just observing them. Through sheer willpower and prayer, the survivors make it through the night. The creature never attacks, but its presence fills them with existential dread. When morning comes and the creature's sounds fade, Jack and Kate sit together and discuss their situation. They realize that during the crash, the plane broke into 3 sections. They're currently at the middle section. This means the cockpit, the front of the plane, must have landed somewhere else on the island. If they can find the cockpit, the radio equipment might still be functional. They could call for help. Kate remembers seeing black smoke rising from the direction of the mountains in the distance. She suggests the cockpit probably went down in that direction. Jack and Kate decide that as soon as it's light enough, they'll search for the cockpit. During this conversation, they introduce themselves to each other formally for the first time, as if establishing some mutual trust and connection amidst the chaos. But before they can finish their conversation, that same horrifying sound echoes through the jungle again. The fear returns instantly. The next morning, Jack decides they can't wait any longer. They need to search for the cockpit immediately. Kate finds a dead body nearby. She carefully removes the shoes from the corpse and puts them on herself, knowing that walking through the jungle without proper footwear will be incredibly difficult. Jack puts Boone in charge of watching the seriously injured man while they're gone. It's an important responsibility. Then Charlie suddenly volunteers to come along with them. After some discussion, Jack, Kate, and Charlie decide to venture into the jungle together to search for the cockpit. As they're preparing to leave, Vincent, Walt's dog, appears in the bushes and watches them with a strange expression, as if he knows something the humans don't. Suddenly, without warning, heavy rain begins to pour down. The jungle becomes even denser, darker, and terrifying. As they trudge through the rain and mud, each step becomes more difficult. But then they spot something. The front section of the plane is visible in the distance. It's lodged against a large tree at an angle, partially suspended in the air. Getting to it won't be easy. They have to use the airplane seats as steps, climbing carefully and slowly to reach the fuselage. Jack reaches the door and forces it open so they can enter. As soon as Jack and Kate enter the cockpit, they immediately begin searching for the radio equipment. This is their last hope, but then something shocking happens. They notice movement in the cockpit, movement from one of the seats. The pilot is alive. Season 1, Episode 1 ends on this stunning revelation.